There comes a time in life when the world begins to slow down, not in a sad or lonely way, but in a quiet, almost sacred rhythm that matches the beat of your own heart. And somewhere after the age of 70, you begin to understand something few people talk about, something that creeps in gently, almost like a whisper. You begin to realize that you no longer need friends, at least not in the way you once did. It's not bitterness, it's not giving up, it's not withdrawal, it's clarity. A soft, powerful clarity that comes only with age, experience, and the kind of wisdom that isn't found in books or lectures, but in silent mornings, long memories, and time itself. When you're young, friendships feel like everything. You crave connection, belonging, laughter. You seek validation in others. Your world is big, loud, filled with movement and noise. Friends are the lifelines that hold you together, the companions through heartbreak, mistakes, and growth. But when you cross into your 70s, things shift. Suddenly, you're not trying to impress anyone anymore. You're not proving yourself, not climbing ladders, not building networks. You're not navigating office politics or worrying about who's invited where. The social games dissolve. The need to be seen vanishes. What remains is peace, stillness, and an overwhelming appreciation for simplicity. The truth is, after 70, you've already seen people come and go. You've lost friends, some to time, some to distance, some to death. Others simply faded like the last notes of a song you no longer need to sing. And that loss, those goodbyes, they teach you something about attachment, about holding on too tightly, about how little control you have over who stays and who leaves. You begin to understand that not all friendships are built to last forever. Some were seasonal, some were situational, some were built on shared chaos, youth, or struggle, and when those chapters ended, so did the bond. That's not failure, that's life. What matters now is different. After 70, what you value most is peace of mind. You've lived through decades of chatter, opinions, conflict, misunderstandings. Now, peace is more important than popularity, silence more nourishing than small talk, solitude more healing than forced companionship. You no longer tolerate energy that drains you. You're no longer afraid to be alone, because you're not truly alone. You're with yourself. And finally, that feels like enough. In fact, being alone starts to feel like coming home. You sit with your own thoughts, you walk with your memories, you hear your own breath, and realize how sacred it is to still be breathing, to still be here. You don't need someone to constantly fill the space next to you. You don't need to be entertained. You are your own company, and it's more comforting than you ever imagined it could be. This doesn't mean you become cold or closed off. It simply means you become more selective. You stop trying to force connections that no longer feel real. You stop answering calls that only bring complaints or gossip. You stop meeting out of obligation, and you start choosing what nurtures your soul. A simple cup of tea on your porch, watching birds in the garden, a quiet moment with your pet, listening to the wind, reading a favorite book again. These become your companions, and in them you find more truth, more comfort, more presence than many friendships ever gave. You also become more forgiving, because time humbles you. You start to understand why some people hurt you, why others disappeared, why certain friendships cracked under pressure. You stop taking things so personally. You start to see that everyone is just doing their best, with their own pain, their own fears, their own limitations. You let go of grudges because they feel too heavy to carry anymore. You don't want heaviness now. You want light. After 70, you learn the art of letting go, not just of people, but of expectations. You stop expecting deep conversations from those who never knew how to go deep. You stop expecting loyalty from those who barely understood themselves. You stop expecting consistency from people who lived in chaos, and instead you accept, you allow, you release, you bless and move on. Sometimes you smile at the irony. When you were younger, you had hundreds of friends and felt lonely. Now, you may see just a few familiar faces a month, and yet you feel whole. Because the friendship you've cultivated with yourself is real. It's patient. It's been there through every storm, every triumph, every mistake. And finally, you know how to listen to your own heart.